Hi Capricorn, Sun, Moon, Ascendant, or Venus. This is Dane, and I'm going to be doing your Mercury retrograde reading for you. Now I ask if this reading resonates with you, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and to subscribe to my channel. And if you would like to be notified whenever I upload new readings, and I upload all the time, just hit the bell notification button. And if you're interested in any of the cards that I'm using, they will all be listed and linked in the description box below. Once again, a reminder not to converse with anybody in the comment box below pretending to be me, soliciting you for readings. That is not me. I'm closed to private readings at this time, and I will not be soliciting anybody in the comment box. So just report them to YouTube. Also send them my way so that I can keep up on everything. I am most definitely trying, but if somebody slips through, just send it my way. All right, awesome. Thank you. Now let's clear the energy space, raising our own energy vibration and releasing any negativity. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. Releasing all negativity from the body like storm clouds. Letting yourself feel calm, centered, and at peace as you enter into this safe and loving space. Now let's let the bowl sing as we see what the tarot has to say. How will Capricorn be affected by Mercury retrograde, January 30th to February 21st, 2021? How will Capricorn be affected by Mercury retrograde, January 30th to February 21st, 2021? How will Capricorn be affected by Mercury retrograde, January 30th to February 21st, 2021? Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides, angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Fantastic. One bonus card. Awesome. Let me move my camera back just a little bit so you can see better. Okay, that seems good. Let's see the chakra energy that will be affecting you during this time. How will Capricorn be affected by Mercury retrograde, January 30th to February 21st, 2021? How will Capricorn be affected by Mercury retrograde, January 30th to February 21st, 2021? Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides, angels. Fantastic. So we're starting off here with the heart chakra, with play. So not taking things so seriously, letting play, letting joy into your life is going to be so important for you, Capricorn. Inspiration with the sacral chakra. And these are also going to be the places where you have a bit of difficulty during this Mercury retrograde, making time for play, letting yourself be inspired. And then finally, visualization, letting your third eye, this is your third eye chakra, open up to what it is that you truly want and making time to see it instead of just, saying it, instead of just, kind of like being like, oh, that would be nice, but actually seeing yourself doing it. Because what's so cool and scary about the mind of a human being is that we do not know the difference between make-believe and reality. So when we're imagining something, when we're visualizing something, and that's active imagination, right? Our mind doesn't know that it's not true. So when you're visualizing the happiness, when you're visualizing the joy, when you're visualizing yourself moving forward in the direction that you want, you're going to start to see the doors opening in a way that you hadn't expected. And now with this Mercury retrograde, this is actually going to be a bit of a gentler Mercury retrograde because it's in Aquarius, and Mercury retrograde really likes being in Aquarius. It feels very comfortable there. The only thing that can come from an Aquarius Mercury retrograde is a sense of aloofness. So that is something to be mindful of, especially Capricorn, if you're born on the cusp with Aquarius, or just have a lot of Aquarius in your chart. You can really feel the aloofness coming forward. It's kind of like just pulling back, kind of needing to find your place, find your way to where it is that you want to be. Now, pre-Mercury retrograde begins on the 15th of January. And so if you're sitting there saying, I don't understand why I'm feeling like words are getting confused or I'm having this struggle here, it's not even Mercury retrograde yet. It's because you're planet sensitive. It's because you're star sensitive, just like me. And you are now starting to realize it's like, oh, wow, this starts even earlier than I had anticipated. And so this is a time, Mercury retrograde is a time when the subconscious self comes forward, because the astrologer Aaron Sullivan has discovered that the time we spend in Mercury retrograde is equal to the time that human beings spend awake in a sleep. So the time we spend in Mercury retrograde, it going backwards, is the time, and the time we spend in Mercury direct, which is going forward, is equal to the time that we as human beings spend awake and asleep. So this is a time when our subconscious self really comes forward. So the left-hand side here is your inner self. The middle is your heart, your emotional self. The right-hand side, the public arena, the public self. And then, of course, you have your bonus card. So we have the 8 of water, the Emperor, strong Aries energy here, time frame March 21st to April 19th. The King of Earth, you're shining through as a king. The 2 of fire, the 2 of wands. The 8 of water is the 8 of cups. The King of Fire, fire sign energy, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, so strong Aries presence here. The Ace of Water, the Ace of Cups. The 3 of Water, the 3 of Cups. And the King of Water, the King of Cups, Pisces, Scorpio, Cancer. The 7 of Air, the 7 of Swords. The 5 of Water, the 5 of Cups. 10 of Earth, the 10 of Pentacles, prosperity that lasts for generations. I love that. And then we have the 8 of Earth, the 8 of Pentacles. Your bonus card is the Magician. Awesome. Awesome. So let's look at the energy you have to be mindful of during this Mercury retrograde. What is the energy that Capricorn has to be mindful of during Mercury retrograde, January 30th to February 21st, 2021? What is the energy that Capricorn has to be mindful of during Mercury retrograde, January 30th to February 21st, 2021? Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides. Fantastic. So we have here justice. This is Libra energy. It doesn't mean that you have to beware of Libras. During a Mercury retrograde, we're asking here what is the energy that we have to be mindful of. So it is an energy of somebody who is very rigid, very much by the rules. This is a time where you can interpret the rules one way and a person can interpret the rules the other way. Does it mean that you're wrong? No, it doesn't. It means that you've both seen the same thing and taken away something different, which is what we do all the time as human beings. This is an energy of being too rigid. That's why you have the heart chakra coming into play, saying play, embrace joy, embrace freedom, veg out on the couch for a moment and just mindlessly watch television, that type of thing, because you're going to get to the point where you feel so overwhelmed that you're going to find you do that anyway. But it's not in a state of enjoyment. It is in a state of, oh my gosh, like there is too much on the plate. There is too much I need to get done. So I'm just going to retreat instead of focusing on what I want. And so here it's like you're taking the ball into your court. This is discernment. Now a need for discernment, a need for really sitting there and saying, what energy do I want around me? What people do I want around me? It moves you to Taurus energy here, April 20th to May 20th. This is the energy of being mindful of somebody who is very, very stubborn. And you will find that you run into these people. It's very much linked with somebody who is very by the book, by the rules. And it's just going to be a stubbornness. It's like either you see it my way or you're wrong. And that's not helpful to anyone. And then we have the King of Pentacles. Now you have a very positive King of Pentacles right here, which is, of course, also you. But you can also find during this time with the energy of the King of Pentacles coming forward that the negative King of Pentacles means that you get in your own way. It's just like as I tripped over those words, you will trip over words, you'll trip over things. You're going to think, wow, I just made myself so clear. And you didn't. And you're sitting there and you're like, how could I have made this clearer? Now, it can just be that the person that you're talking to, even though you speak the same language, it can be that you're not speaking the same language at all. Like the way you interpret things and the way they interpret things are astoundingly different. And that's going to be something that you run into a lot of trouble with during this Mercury retrograde. It's going to be, I think I'm making myself clear. I think I'm laying everything out. And others just aren't understanding. And this is where you're going to need to step back and either say, you know what, I need somebody else to handle this during this time. If you don't have that luxury, it's stepping back and saying, how succinct can I make this? And kind of making it into a game. And this is also going to be a time where you're just going to have to know sometimes things get muddled. Sometimes things get overwhelming. And this is where the heart chakra is like, embracing your heart chakra, listening to your heart, your soul, and yourself, and saying, how do I move forward to where it is that I need to be? Soul, spirit, and being. What is it that I love? And what am I making time for? Is this going to be a time where everybody gets my attention, except the people who actually need it? Is this going to be a time where I'm spread so thin that I can't even enjoy, what's going on around me? Because if that's the case, it's time to step back. And it doesn't mean that you let things fall. Though sometimes here you're attempting to juggle just a bit too much. You're looking at a path forward and there's going to be so much that you want to do. This is going to be a time where you need to step back and kind of make a planner, make a schedule of things or plan things out like a to-do list and just do a few things. And also don't be so hard on yourself. Don't sit there and say, well, I want to do this, but I have to be the best at it. And I have to be the best at this. And then I have to be the best at this. And then all of a sudden, just even thinking about it becomes exhausting. Let yourself embrace play. Let yourself embrace, new ideas. Let yourself embrace imagination. And then you're going to see yourself moving forward with a bit more ease because you're taking the dire situation out of it. Even if it is a very intense situation, just making sure that you take time to kind of even take 5 minutes, 15 minutes just for yourself. And it can be self-pampering. It can be just escaping, just having a quiet moment where everybody isn't calling your name and needing your attention. Just step back. And as you step back, you here need to embrace your creative energy within your sacral chakra. This is your creative and your sexual energy. They want to come forward. This can be a very sensual time for you if you let it be. And it can be a time where you start expressing yourself through the movement of your body, through gestures, through small little things. It doesn't have to be the act of sex itself. It can be the act of sensuality, of seduction within life. And that's going to be something that you feel very, very beautiful with, like very inspired by. And then you start to embrace inspiration. You start to embrace creativity. You start to embrace the doors opening. And you start to embrace moving forward, finding this new dawn, this new day. And it leads you to here visualization, the active part of sitting there and saying, this is what I want. This is what I'm seeing. And really looking at the part of the mind that says, okay, but I'm really terrified of this. Like, I'm really terrified of making myself this vulnerable. I'm really terrified of having other people judge me. I'm really terrified of having to juggle all of this. And it's looking at it and it's having a conversation with yourself, because visualization can feel like, oh, well, I'm just adding another thing onto the list. And if I don't get that done, I've obviously failed. It's like, no, you haven't. Don't be so hard on yourself. This is a time where you need to breathe just a little bit release, because you've been carrying so much. It's been such a stressful year that we've come out of, a 2020. 2021 has also started with quite a bang, right? So here there is quite intense. So here there is this sense of, how do I move forward in seeing what it is that I want and what it is that I need from my life, how it is that I need to move forward. And instead of making it about what you need to do for everybody else, because Capricorn, you can easily do that, what you need to make happen for everybody else, how you need everybody else to move forward. You're here. You have three kings. You're moving forward in the power of kings. You're moving forward towards something greater than what you expected. You begin with an 8. You are rooted with an 8. You end with an 8. This is a time where you can take things really, really, really seriously. 8 is a very serious, it's a very structured number. It likes that. It likes, kind of like a place for everything and everything in its place. This is not a time where you need to just kind of like throw everything up like confetti and see where it lands. But for some of you Capricorns, you do. You need to sit there and say, enough. Like, let me see how things move forward instead of being so rigid. But you're going to default. Your default reaction and emotion during this time is going to be to have that rigidity, to have that sense of everything has to be ordered and everything has to be a certain way. And you're going to see yourself here being very blessed by the sacred feminine as you move forward, but needing to embrace the creativity, needing to embrace your heart, because your heart is crowned by a king and it's rooted by a king. The 8 of Waters here is saying that you're walking away from something you once thought you would love. You could have thought you had all the answers. And don't we have those moments or those times in our lives where we sit there and we think, I just figured it all out. Like, and we're so smug. We get so smug and so happy. And it's like, I just figured it all out. And then we fast forward, a few months or even a few days down the road. And it's like, oh no, oh no, that wasn't the answer I thought it was going to be. Or sometimes it takes a few years, which can be a little bit more devastating. The 8 of Waters is walking away. It's saying, I need to be happy. And it doesn't mean that you have to, get a divorce or quit your job or anything like that, or, stop your relationship. It means that there has to be a point where you put your emotions first. And it doesn't mean that you're selfish or egotistical or, self-centered. It means that you start to see that you matter. It's like, I matter. And I get to have a voice in my life. I get to not be kind of the sacrificial lamb doing everything for everyone or trying to balance everything and never being seen, never being heard, never being loved, never being respected. Those type of things at work, at home, in just our lives in general, where we look at things. It's like, well, I'm meeting all these goals, but am I happy? Do I have something really to show for it that I want within my life? And so the 8 of Cups is walking away from something. It might have been a goal that you thought, wow, I'll be happy when I hit here. And here's the thing. When we get to our utopia, when we get to the place that we think, wow, I'll be happy, it shatters away because we've obtained it. And then we have to push just a little bit further. But we can also find that what we thought it would be and what it is, it's not the same thing. It's kind of like when I was little. I always wanted to live in the city. Like always, always, always. My grandma lived in the city. I thought it was the coolest thing ever. And then I realized that I'm like a suburbs country girl. And that's just who I am. It's too loud, it's too much. And that's kind of something that I had to understand. And so walking away from a dream that you've had for so long, I know that sounds kind of silly to say and equate it to that, but it's like you thought, oh no, this is my path. Like this is exactly what I'm going to do. The boxes that I need to check. And then you realize, no, it's not. It's not giving me the joy that I thought it would. And that's when you become the emperor. That's when you look at yourself and it's your temperament. Some people are city people, some people are country people, some people, love ice cream, some people don't. And here it's just finding what's right for you, finding what makes you happy, finding where you need to be. And the emperor is saying here, how do I claim my throne? How do I claim my power? What is it that I need? It's also seeing that strength within us. Those things that we overlook and say, well, everybody can do this, duh. And it's not. It's not like everybody can do it. We have gifts, but because they can come naturally to us, we don't see them as gifts. And also, they're not those flashy things. You're not sitting there in an expensive car, in an expensive house, with everybody oohing and ahhing over you. They can be very subtle gifts. It can be being kind. Being kind is a gift, especially in a world where everybody's yelling over everybody else and everybody's sitting there and judging everybody else so hard. It's like to just be kind and say, you have your opinions, I have my opinions, but there can still be harmony here. There can still be love and peace and understanding. And if that's what you build your throne off of, if it's that respect for humanity, for life, for individuals, for yourself, that's a fantastic place to start. That's a fantastic place to be. Now, you might find you get taken advantage of, but you also find by being taken advantage of, you start to kind of be able to pick out the people who are going to screw you over and sit there and say, okay, you know what? I've seen you before. Like, I've seen your type before. And I get to be discerning with the energy that I want around me, with what I will take and what I won't take. And that moves you to being a king. Because the emperor here, you know, you're looking at things, you're being very logical, you're being very optimistic, you're setting up your goals, you're claiming that throne. And it's very much the sentiment of, I might not be fit to rule, right? Because you know all your flaws, you know all your blessings, but nobody is fit to rule over me. And that's where you are at this time. And it brings you to the King of Earth. And it says here, generous, professional, responsible, and practical. It's like you have it all going for you to succeed, to move forward. And as you lay down a structured, stable, disciplined environment for yourself, you look at your strengths. And even if you're structured and you're disciplined is other people's chaotic, that's fine. It works for you. Whatever works for you, that's where you need to, that's where you need to kind of denote your time. That's where you need to sit there and say, well, this works for me. It might not work for you, but that's fine. This is my life, and I get to live it. And the King of Earth is you claiming your power, claiming your interconnectedness with what it is that you want to achieve, how it is that you want to move forward, where it is that you want to be. And so you start to sit there and say, I get to move forward. I get to, again, claim this throne, have this power, but you are also going to, you have 3 kings and an emperor, so like an intense king, right? So you have 4 kings here pretty much. And it's rulers, it's strength, it's prosperity. You're being seen during this time. Now, does that mean that things have a bigger chance to get muddled? Absolutely. But you have the power of kings behind you and beside you. And what I see with kings and how I see the kings is the kings are the actors upon the stage. They're the ones that everybody looks at. They're the ones that, get their name written down more. The director behind the scenes, has to be searched for a bit more. And those I see as the queens. And so here with this kingly energy, you have this sense of being center stage during this time, of really looking at what it is that you want and where it is that you desire to be. And so this professionalism, this generosity, this determination is going to lead you forward, is going to be a great hallmark of the things to come, of this stepping stone, of this, sense of power, sense of duty, sense of understanding. And it leads you to the 2 of fire. The 2 of fire, the 2 of swords starts to let you see that there's a greater path forward. It's also, you have 2 ways forward in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck. It's, that V of the star of the swords with the person holding them blindfolded. And there's this sense of, well, I can only move forward this way. I have 2 swords. There's 2 directions, 2 roads to pick. That's it. End of the discussion. And what you're going to start to see here is that what you hadn't thought possible starts to become possible as you balance your talents, as you claim your life, as you say somebody has to lead. It might as well be me. Because this isn't about following anybody else's dream for your life. We've been there, we've done that, right? We've tried to be what other people want us to be. Especially if you found this channel, if you stumbled across here, you have a sensitivity, you have a compassion that is really quite intensely beautiful. And we tend to think that that's wrong, especially as a Capricorn energy, especially as an earth sign energy, as somebody who lays down a solid foundation and likes to build off of it. You're an extremely sensitive person. You are an empathetic person. You can even be an indigo child. And what that means is that there's a sensitivity and a beauty to you that's supposed to light up this world. And as you're embracing this, you're going to start to see that the paths that the world said, you can move this way, you can move that way. You can be this person, you can be that person. You're going to start to see that they didn't fit you. It's kind of like when my mom was little. When my mom was little, she was told she could be a nurse or she could be a teacher. And she trained and studied to be a teacher, wound up hating it, went into business, absolutely loved it, but was like the only woman in business at that time where she worked. And so I think there was one other. And so here, it's like that. It's like you have these 2 roads ahead of you, and it's you can be A or you can be B. And you're going to start to see that C starts to come in, and it feels like such a better choice. And then, oh my gosh, did you hear about D? And then it goes on, and then the world opens, and you're like, oh wow, I can move forward that way. I can be who it is that I'm supposed to be. I can be me and still succeed. And there's going to be this kind of fight during this Mercury retrograde of, no, you can't. And there's going to be the sense of, yes, I can, because there is such power here. There is the king of fire over your heart, crowning your heart. This is motivational, idealistic, ambitious, and charismatic. There's going to be this fire that's warming you, that's leading you forward, saying, yes, I can do this. And your biggest battle during this time is not letting people talk you out of it. Not letting people sit there and say, well, what are you, insane? Like, you could never possibly, make it this way, open up the world for you doing this. And what your heart is saying is, yes, I can. And it may not be right away. I'm not saying, you have to do it right now. What Spirit is saying is that you start to build towards it. You start to put your foot in the water. You start to have a hobby on the side that might be a little bit more stressful, might add stress, but it also relieves stress as you do it. Like the having to make time for it, the having to be there becomes stressful. But once you're there, you're like, oh my gosh, it just feels like coming home. It feels like being centered and secure. It feels like that warm cup of tea that's just delicious. And so here you're going to find that you're moving forward this way. It's like, what is it that I want? Where is it that I want to be? What is the passion, the fire, the desire, the purpose to me? And it opens you to the Ace of Water. It opens you to God's source spirit, however you see the divine, the universe, handing you a gift of love. And you are most definitely taking it in the most profound and intense way. The King of Water is trustworthy, compassionate, respected, and cultured. There's a sense of just having it, of just having the sense of happiness and pride and, coming together. But the thing is that as you're moving forward with your passion, with like what lights your heart on fire, what makes you excited to get out of bed in the morning, as you're having these gifts come in from divinity, you're also going to have with the Three of Water, the Three of Cups for me is the people that are supposed to have celebrated us and just couldn't. And it's really devastating when it's a parent, when it's, when it's just somebody that was supposed to be there. And the scars, they're big if you grew up like this, right? If you grew up just knowing that no matter what you did, that person would never like you. That person would never see you as valuable, would always see your sensitivity, would always see your compassion, would always see your creativeness as a weakness. Just plain, that's it. But it's also devastating if you're in a relationship with this type of person who is supposed to be your rock, who is supposed to be the person that would stand by you through thick and thin and who would understand you, and they belittle you and they make fun of you and they make you doubt yourself. And all of a sudden, the future that you envisioned, it starts to fall away. People don't have that right. I was reading something, watching something, I can't remember, but the person said, when we say, you make me feel, they said the hard thing to realize is that nobody can make you feel anything. But my gosh, can they do a number on you when the only thing you're trying to do is bring harmony into the situation, and they keep on taking it away. Because what they're doing is they're robbing you of a solid foundation. They're robbing you out of, that way to build forward. And you're going to find that they can make you feel this way. They can manipulate the situation so that you doubt yourself. And so here, as you're getting these gifts to come forward, and as you're taking them and you're rooted in taking them, there is that fight to sit there and say, I don't get to feel like crap anymore. I don't get to be heartbroken and overwhelmed and denied the power to move forward. Because this is my past, and my past doesn't get to dictate my future anymore. Because you're walking away. You're walking away from the wounds that once felt comfortable. They're called wound mates. And, when I first heard of wound mates, which I love that statement, I heard it in terms of relationships. And I thought, oh, that's perfect. We tend to find that person or those people that bring out the wounds that we see within ourselves or that we grew up with. It's like, oh, this is normal. It's not normal to be spoken down to. It's not normal to be yelled at and belittled or hit or anything like that. That's not normal. Those are finding wound mates. And what you're going to see here is that we find those wound mates not only in relationships, but also in careers. We find them in friends. And you're going to start to see a pattern in the relationships that you've had, the jobs that you've had, the way people have spoken down to you. And that's what you're shattering here. And during Mercury retrograde, there's all the subconscious nonsense that we have to deal with that comes forward. It's all the stuff that we've pushed back into our minds. And that's where we're going to start seeing ourselves trip up. We're going to start seeing ourselves trip up around the heart chakra, around what we love, around the power and the passion and the beauty forward, around the sacral chakra, around being comfortable in our sensuality, in our creativity, in our sexual exploration, and then also around our third eye chakra, trusting our insight, our intuition, trusting the opening of our eyes, not only to see the inspiration that comes forward, but to visualize the path to where we want to be, so that as we walk it on the earthly plane, it's not so terrifying. It leads you then to the Seven of Air. This is where the aloofness comes in, and this is why people see you as being rather aloof during this time, because you're gathering up the information, you're gathering up the understanding, and you're moving forward, leaving some things behind, but also realizing that if you tell everything to everybody, you know, you have the people that take you by eyes, you have the people who don't care, you have the people that say, you know, what makes you think that you could actually do that? And then you have the doubt starting to come in. Or when you don't do it in a few days or in a few weeks, they sit there and they go, oh, well, that was a really nice dream that you had. But, you know, it wasn't able to be a reality. Too bad. And you're going to see that, like, that really gets your goat. It really does. It gets you super, super mad, which it should, because they're being jerks. But you're going to see yourself needing to gather up your information, gather up your knowledge, and start moving forward to where it is that you want to be, soul, spirit, and self. And that leads you to, instead of looking at the negative, you start looking at the positive. And it sounds so easy to say, and yet it's one of the hardest things to do, is that when life gives you lemons, you make lemonade. When everything falls apart, for you to sit there and say, but I still have this, you know, but I still have this power forward, but I still have this determination. Even if it's just your angels and your spirit guides, I still have that connection. That becomes a powerful thing. And instead of looking at all the disappointments, all the angers, all the upsets, all the pain, you start to look at all the beauty that is around you, all the passion that guides you forward, all the love that you have. And it brings you then to a prosperity that lasts for generations. And when we see the 10 of Pentacles, you know, I used to always think of inheritance. It's like, oh, wow, money's coming in. Is it? It could be. It could very well be. But Spirit doesn't see money as being all that important. You know, it just doesn't. You know, being comfortable, being able to pay your bills, yes, Spirit can see that as being important. But it also can see that it'll come. You know, things will come. You'll be able to move forward. But what Spirit also sees as being as important as money is what you truly value, is love, is compassion, is that connectivity that guides you forward. And so this is money, or what you value as much as money, coming into your life. And it's you spreading wealth. It doesn't have to be the wealth of, you know, I can give a person this much money, or I can leave this much money for a person. It's the wealth of the words that you say stick into somebody's head, or the kind act that you did sticks in a person's heart. And that starts to open you to a world, and that starts to open the world to you. And it leads you to the 8 of Earth. It leads you to seeing that all your hard work, the 8 of Pentacles, all your hard work really does pay off. And yes, it was hard, and yes, it was overwhelming, but it was absolutely worth it. And you start to claim your power, you start to claim your magic. You stand before the altar of your existence, and it's as above, so below. As you believe it, so it becomes. As you see it, so it will be. And during this Mercury retrograde, with your subconscious being so powerful within your life and within your world, that statement is just so true. As you see it, it will be. And this is going to be a powerful time for you to see what it is that you desire, to see the way that you need to move forward, to really look at the words that you're saying to yourself subconsciously and consciously in order to sculpt and create the world that you want to live in, your little paradise, and not to destroy it on yourself, because we tend to do that as we move forward, or we let other people's words sit there and say, oh, really? That's all you want from life? It's like, no, it is enough, and it is beautiful. And so here with the Magician, you're seeing your passion, you're seeing yourself embrace your element of being, your elements of understanding, the way that you move forward in your fire, in your truth, in your love, in your determination, you know, in your steadfastness, and to build the world that you want. And as above, so below. The Magician is also like another king. So now you have 5 kings here. It is seen. You stand before the altar of your existence, and you call the power that you need to guide you forward. And it leads you here to now going deeper. So let's see. Capricorn. How will Capricorn be affected by Mercury retrograde, January 30th to February 21st, 2021? How will Capricorn, be affected by Mercury retrograde, January 30th to February 21st, 2021. How will Capricorn be affected by Mercury retrograde, January 30th to February 21st, 2021? Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Ooh, and one bonus card. Fantastic. Awesome. So we have the Seven of Winter, the Seven of Swords. It crowned you in the public arena. Now it's crowning you in your inner self. The Eight of Autumn, the Eight of Pentacles, which grounds you in the public arena. Now it's at the heart of you, of your inner self. And you have balance, which is Sagittarius energy coming forward. If you're born on the cusp with Sagittarius, or you have Sagittarius in your chart, this is very powerful. But this is balance, this is harmony coming forward into your life. You have the Three of Summer. Once again, the Three of Cups. Here you had it at the heart. Now it is crowning you, awakening from that negativity to the Lovers, to what you love in life. I love that. That's beautiful. The Magician now crowns your public arena. People definitely take note. The sun comes in and you are now the king. You are embracing, you have the king now showing up in every single deck, the King of Pentacles. And so here, do note that the King of Pentacles here, Spirit is saying, means that you can get in your own way very easily. So do be mindful of that. But there is a sense here of you being the king of your world, of yourself. So be very, very mindful of how things are affecting you and the energy that is circling situations and people. And then you have life experience, which is the Tower over the Magician. And what makes you so great as standing before the altar of your existence and saying, this is me, is because you've been brought to your knees. You've failed. You've fallen apart. You've been hurt and overwhelmed. And now you're saying, okay, I see it. I see it. But I claim my power. I am not held back. And that changes the tide for you. It's you gathering up what it is that you need to push yourself forward, to go after what it is that you want, to sit there and say, this is me. Whether you like it, whether you don't like it, this is me, this is my knowledge, this is my understanding. I can't carry everything, it's just too much. But this is who I am. And it moves you to walk away. And it moves you to claim your throne, to walk away from being trapped and to claim a throne that you hadn't thought could be yours. You just didn't. You didn't think that you could have this power, this control, this beauty over your existence. And it doesn't mean that you know everything or you work out life's mysteries. It means that you sit there and say, all right, bring it on. Bring it on as I move forward. I can do this. I can do this because I am centering, focusing, and embracing my life and myself. And it moves you to the Eight of Pentacles. It moves you to all your hard work paying off. And it's like sharing this wisdom, sharing this prosperity, sharing this bounty within yourself of everything that you've learned, every scar that you've gotten, every joyous moment you've had of success. It's all been worth it to make you this king, to place you on this throne, to have you gain this understanding. And it brings balance. It brings balance to the paths that you see. Before they were like worlds different. You could be this way or you could be this way. Traditional paths that everybody else takes, and you're supposed to find your happiness there. It wasn't for you. Now you have the balance coming in. You're starting to find harmony within yourself, a sense of, this is the path that I can walk, and I can actually be successful at it. It's not only certain people can be successful at it. It's like, there's a voice, there's a brilliance, there's a path forward for me. And that leads you to looking at all those people who just couldn't. It's the friendships that fell apart. It was the people that just couldn't be there, just couldn't believe in you because they were going through their own stuff. Fine, because they just didn't know how to love. That could also very much be it. And now you're starting to see yourself say, okay, you helped forge me. You were me being put into that fire and hammering out, the intense vulnerability that I had. And it hasn't broken you. And it hasn't made you not compassionate. It's made you stronger, and it's made you better than you could have hoped to have been. Because it's given you compassion. It's given you understanding. It's given you brilliance. And it's moved you to an awakening after this pain. And because of this pain, to awaken to the power of yourself, to what it is that you desire, to where it is that you need to be, to the balance of the sacred masculine and the sacred feminine within you, the balance of the harmony of self, the balance of your waking world and your sleeping world, your subconscious and your conscious being. And it's like, oh, this is it. Like, there is more here than I had realized. And it moves you to falling in love with your life. It can be falling in love. You can find a water sign energy or just a person who's very emotionally available. And you fall in love. It doesn't have to be a sexual love. It can be a friendship. It can be a sense of the person just gets you. And there's love here. But there's also a sense of falling in love with your life, falling in love with yourself, falling in love with your dreams again. And life not being so rigid, so bleak. When life gets bleak and you start to remember things and they're all gray or like sepia, and it's like, it's not that beautiful image that you would like it to be. It's not like an old beautiful picture. It's like this stern harshness. And you're going to start to see that falling away, to embrace the color, to embrace the laughter. And it moves you to the magician. It moves you to standing before the altar of your existence as you change your mind and change your life. And you take what's really valuable to you and say, this is what I want. This is where I want to be. I reserve the right to change my mind. But this is my passion, my power, and my brilliance moving forward. This is me saying, as above, so below. As I think it, so it becomes. As I focus on it, so it is. And the world starts to open. The world starts to open in a way that you hadn't expected, in a power you hadn't anticipated. And it moves you to happiness, joy, prosperity, success, bounty, determination. As you have here, prosperity that lasts for generations coming forward. As you have the power of yourself coming forward, your hard work, your discipline, your dedication. And this is the happiest card in the whole entire deck. Are people going to take you by eyes? Absolutely. Should you let them? No. They're going to be jealous and say, why you and not me? It's because this is your life. You get to be happy in it. And if they think just because somebody else is happy in their life that they can't be happy in their own, that's a problem for them to deal with, not for you to try and sort out. It leads you then to you being a king of your prosperity, a king of your bounty, as you see your hard work paying off, as you see your dedication meaning something. And it leads you to understanding the why just a little bit more. It might not be fully coming to terms with it, but understanding the why a little bit more. Why you had to fall and fail, why things had to be so hard, why you had to lose everything at one point in your life, why you had to walk through hell. And you look at who you are and where you are, and there's a strength, and there's a determination, and there's a focus. And there's also a sense of, well, you know what, why can't I just try it? Why can't I just try something that suits me, something that everybody might laugh at or think is different and weird? But why can't I try walking down that path and see what it holds for me? That's going to be part of your magic during this time. It's actually all the nonsense. Actually, Spirit is saying it's all the crap that you've been through, meaning something. Because it's not for nothing. Excuse my language. Okay, now let's see here. What's your spirit animal message? How will Capricorn be affected by Mercury retrograde, January 30th to February 21st, 2021? How will Capricorn be affected by Mercury retrograde, January 30th to February 21st, 2021? Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels. Ooh, and spirit guides. Fantastic. These four. So we're going to start with the giraffe spirit, which made itself absolutely known. And it says, see the big picture. There's going to be, during this Mercury retrograde, there's definitely going to be the sense of being caught up in the minutia of everything. See the bigger picture of what you're headed for, of what you want. That's going to make things clear. It's kind of like step back, and look at the big picture of where it is that you want to be, of what it is that you desire. It leads you then to the beaver spirit. Lay a solid foundation for yourself, for your hopes, for your dreams, for what it is that you want within your life. It's time to move out the sand and to say, it's like laying a Roman road. Okay, the Romans built roads and they still last today. We build roads and they fall apart. They're always being redone. So it's saying, yes, it could take a heck of a long time, but lay a solid foundation and build then off of that solid foundation. And then it moves you to the bat spirit. A rebirth is assured. It really is. This coming into your own, this seeing this own power, this transformation of self and of soul is assured. Because life is speeding up, because you're moving forward in a way that really does surprise you. It's like, oh, I didn't think of that, or oh, I didn't think I could move forward like that. And that's like, yes, you can. Your subconscious spirit animal message is the hummingbird spirit. Be here now. Be in the present. Be in this moment, because we don't get them back. And as much as we might sit there and be exhausted by them or overwhelmed by them, or just be like, oh my gosh, when is this going to end? There will be a time when we look back and are like, that wasn't as bad as I thought it was. Or, that was an interesting, experience. It kind of changed the way I look at things a bit more. And so be here now. Be in the present. It moves you to your subconscious person message, which is the Chariot, moving forward in love, in an understanding of the subconscious self and the conscious self, and letting both have their say, letting both have their power as you move forward towards what you love, towards what you need, and towards where you need to be. It moves you then to your chakra, to your subconscious chakra message, which is grounding, the Earth Star chakra, being grounded within yourself, within what you desire. It's putting your roots deep in good, fertile soil, instead of having the soil be not nutritious or unnutritious or unhealthy for you. It's sitting there and saying, how is it that I feed my soul, myself? And what is the richness of the energy that I am planting myself in? That's going to be so important for you. It then leads you to your subconscious tarot message, which is the Nine of Earth, prosperity that, has been hard won. There's hard work ahead, most definitely, but there's power and there's prosperity and there's brilliance here. See it. Don't just look at the hard work that's yet to come. See where you are now. Enjoy it. Savor it. It moves you then to go deeper into the subconscious message and see the Six of Summer. See the nostalgia that is around you, but also see the negativity that has been with you since childhood. Angry words that were spoken over you, heartbreaks, pains, and disappointments. And now you're seeing yourself move forward from them. Focus on the dreams and the brilliance of your imagination and the passion of yourself that has always been there. And start to nurture it. Start to bring it forward. It's like, start to remember the laughter of a child. And just how, when you hear it, it just makes you laugh. It makes you smile. It's that innocent joy. Start to have that innocent joy, embracing the prosperity that is a part of you. All right, Capricorn, I hope this reading has resonated with you. I wish you nothing but light, love, peace, and happiness. May harmony always be with you. I am sending loving, healing energy to each and every one of you. I love you all, and stay safe. Let's end this reading with a meditation, a clearing away of negative energy, a raising of our positive energy as you follow the balance of love and as you see your hard work paying off. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. May you move forward in peace and in harmony, Capricorn.